All right, guys. So I got some news. I did it. I passed the MSF course this weekend. I kind of wanted to hop on, share a little bit of my thoughts, and kind of document the experience. I guess I'll start off with like what my riding experience was prior to the course. Kind of talk about the course, as I experienced it, and then just like kind of wrap up with some thoughts at the end. So a quick like rundown of like what my experience was. I've only really ridden on my brother's Yamaha R3 for like a total of 45 minutes to like an hour. I've pretty much practiced like working, like turning on the bike, uh, practicing feeling what the friction zone is, like what that feels like, and then I like rode around the block a couple times in my neighborhood, and I also practiced U turns like for like 5 minutes, or not U-turns, figure eights for like 5 minutes. So like that's a lot of like leaning, looking over my shoulders and making sure like I'm like looking where I want the bike to go. And that's pretty much it. As far as like experiences for the riders that took the course with me, I took the course with 6 other people, and the skills ranged from like never touched a bike to a guy who has ridden a dirt bike to like this other guy who's ridden street motorcycles for like 20 years ago, and they finally just wanted to take the MSF course and get their motorcycle endorsement. So if you don't know, the MSF course these days, you need to take a 5-hour online course prior to the in-person course, or like the in-person like classes. During those 5 hours, you are like tested in modules throughout the course, and then at the end of that 5-hour like online course, you have like a comprehensive test which tests you on everything that you just learned during those 5 hours. You need to pass that and print out a certificate of completion so you can attend like the in-person courses. So you have to print it out to show that like you completed it, and then you hand it in, and then you're like allowed to like go in the classroom at that point. For the 2 days, you have basically a written portion of the course that's like a written test that tests you based off of those 5 hours. So you have to pass that. And then you basically have like hands on training for like on the bike. So you're doing like a whole bunch of exercises that lead you up to like the final test, which is like the skills test at the end of day two. So let me pull it up because I have some. I wrote down what those actually were, the different skills tests, and there are 5 of them. To talk a little bit about like the exercises that they taught you during day one and like the first half of day two. Basically, it's like first of all, it's getting proper gear, and then it's mounting the bike correctly, and then it's turning the bike on. Using the Find C acronym. So that's like making sure your foot stand is up, or the fuel valve, whichever word you want to use for your specific bike. Turning the ignition on with the key, making sure the bike is in neutral. Well, it's N. And then the engine cutoff switch, make sure that's on. Once that's on, you pull your clutch in, and then you can hit the start, like the start engine button. So that's like the Find C acronym that we were practicing. We practiced the friction zone. We practiced doing like emergency stops. We practiced turning. We practiced going at high speeds. We practiced like limited space maneuvers. So like a sharp left or a sharp right from a complete stop. We practiced U-turns. Basically, you practice figure eights. We practiced slaloming, and we practiced like doing like an emergency swerve. Um, I'm sure there were other things in there that like build you up to like the 5 skills tests at the end. But basically, those are like the main exercises that we did during like day one and like half of day two. The skills test, there's like 5 different exercises. And like I said, all of day one and day two like leads up to this. So those 5 tests were the slalom. So you have cones. I don't know if OBS is going to record that thumbs up, like weird emoji thing that just popped up, but you have the slalom, which like there are cones set up in a straight line, maybe like 3 or 4 feet apart from each other, and you have to go like maneuver your bike throughout those cones without hitting them. So that's skills test, like one of the skills tests. Another one is an emergency stop from a high speed, and the high speed, to give you an idea, is like 15 to 20 miles an hour. So you have to get your bike up from, from 0 to like 15 to 20 miles an hour, and then do an emergency stop. Like, you have to like do that when your bike passes cones. So there's cones set up that like where like you're supposed to do the stop, but it has to be after the cones, not before, or not on the cones. It has to be after your front wheel passes those cones. So that's the skills test, like a second skills test. A third one is swerving. So like you have two cones set up to like you enter through those cones, and then there's like cones here like in front that you cannot hit, and then like a boundary cone that you have to stay within the swerve. So like cones here that you enter, and then a boundary cone, and then all these other cones that you can't hit. So you swerve going at a high speed, and then you swerve around it while staying inside that boundary. So that's skills test, like a third skills test. Another one is a sharp right hand turn from a stop. So you pretty much set up with like you have like the like literally like a right angle with cones like outlining it, and you're at like a T, and then whenever the instructor is like, all right, Casey, whenever you're ready, then you go ahead and do the emergent, or you do the turn. You can't hit the cones, and that's pretty much another one. And then the last one, number 5, is a U-turn in a box. So there are like paint lines on the course, and then like cones marking off like the box, and you have to do a U-turn within that box without hitting any of the cones, or without hitting like or like going outside of the boundary lines. For all of those different tests, you can get points off, or you can get automatically failed. Like you can automatically fail the test, if you do these other things. So like for points off, if you put your foot down at any time after the instructor says, "Okay, Casey, whenever you're ready," if you put your foot down, if you're like, for example, if it's the sharp right hand turn and a stop, if you're like in the middle of the turn and you put your foot down, that's like points off. If at any time you hit a cone, so like say you're in, it's like the U-turn scenario, or if you go outside of the boundary line, or you hit a cone in like that rectangle box that you're in that you have to make a U-turn, if you hit any of the cones, or if you go up over like the painted boundary line, then like that's points off as well. If you stall a bike, that's points off. If you stall a bike 3 times, then you're automatically, failed from like the test. If you drop the bike at all, there's no limit to that. It's like just if you drop the bike at all, then that's automatically failed. And then the last thing is if you commit intentional acts of harm. So like let's say this is like a really stupid scenario, and no one in our class did this, but like say someone's like in the middle of their course, like say they're doing like the slalom around the cones, and some idiot decides to start their bike and run like right through them, like right in front of them or beside them, and they're like interfering with like their performance, then like obviously that's an intentional act of like acting like harming yourself or others. So like yeah, that's like automatically disqualified from the test basically, and you're kicked out. Which thankfully all of my classmates did not do any of that. My classmates were pretty cool, actually. I would say that's pretty much it. I will say for me, there like I didn't set up. Well, okay, so everyone in our class passed. I'll say that we passed the written portion and we passed the skills portion. We all got our like cards. What I didn't do is I didn't schedule an appointment with the DMV so that I can finally update my license to get the motorcycle endorsement. So I basically walked in 2 mornings in a row to try to just like, walk into the DMV and see if I can get my endorsement. But like the lines were so long, and I showed up before the DMV even opened. So basically I was like, you know what? I'm not going to wait in this line. It's probably going to be like a 2-3+ hour wait, because people obviously with their appointments, they just skip the line, and who knows however long that's going to take. So I was like, whatever. I just scheduled an appointment, and the soonest one that I could get was like a month out. There was one person that was really smart, and they scheduled their DMV appointment like the day after the MSF course. So Lucky for them, they probably already have their driver's license updated. So that's like my tip to you. If you are going to go ahead and schedule your MSF course, schedule the DMV like right after. I think that's pretty much it. I did have two clips that I filmed. One was the night before day one, and one was the night of day one. And I was pretty tired during both of those like videos. So, it is what it is, but I wanted to keep it in and, just to document everything and share the experience. And I think that's pretty much it. I think a couple tips I have for like while you're, inside the MSF course, I would say, so I think on average there's like 7 to 8 people in the class, and there's only one instructor. My instructor tried her best to speak loud, to yell. And she also had this like speaker system. She spoke into the mic, and there was a speaker that, made her voice louder, obviously. But that like speaker thing that she was using wasn't working half the time. So like we couldn't hear it. Sometimes we couldn't hear it if she was like on the far left and I was on the far right. Or like sometimes we just couldn't hear it because like all of our motorcycles were on and we were all like, practicing. So a that I would say is like, I know obviously you listen with your ears, but I would say listen with your eyes as well and just try to observe what she's doing in her demos. Because one thing I forgot to say was during the MSF course, during each exercise, not during the skills tests, but during the exercises that were all being taught throughout the course, she will do a demo. I think she rode through the demo either once or twice, definitely once, but like sometimes twice. So I would say pay attention to how much throttle she's giving or the instructor's giving. Pay attention to like when they're giving the throttle. Pay attention to if they want you to shift into second gear. Pay attention to if they say use the front and the rear brake at the same time. Just try to pay attention with your eyes and your ears, like both of them, because sometimes you literally cannot hear it. And that's just like the nature of the MSF course, I think. And yeah, try not to get frustrated if you can't hear it. Just try to at least see. And if you can't see what she's doing, then ask your fellow classmates. And like, it's kind of as simple as that. All right, well, I think it's time to roll the embarrassing two clips. If anybody has any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll get to them. And yeah, I think that's it for this one. I'll play these next two clips. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Good morning, guys. It is early. It's 6:32, Saturday, January 25th, and it's 45 degrees outside. This is the morning of the my first day of the MSF course. So I'm just kind of finished gathering all my stuff that I wanted to take with me, my helmet, my riding gear, and some snacks. I have to pack the cooler for drinks and my lunch. But yeah, I'm excited today. It's cold, so I'm probably actually just gonna wear my long sleeve shirt and my hoodie. My long sleeve shirt is underneath here, and I actually have like a tank top underneath here too. Because the riding jacket that I did buy like is not enough of a layer, and it's too thin. It's too tight for me to wear layers underneath it. So I'm just gonna wear this, and I think I'll be fine. But yeah, I'm going. I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm going with my friend, who is also taking the MSF course. She's been wanting to ride for a while now, and we decided to do the course together. Well, actually, I decided to do the course, and she wasn't sure. And then she just decided to take the same like dates of the course as me. So we're doing it together, it turns out, which is awesome. Those are going to be really cool, like core memories for us. But yeah, I'm excited about it. I don't really know if I'm nervous right now. I was kind of like weirdly nervous sleeping last night. Just thinking about it, like just kind of going over like the knowledge section of like the like critical thinking part of the quiz, and then the physical quiz or the physical like test after we learn all the skills. I was just trying to like think about like how important the friction zone is, like making sure I don't make any sudden movements with either the clutch or the throttle, and just trying to like tell myself to just stay calm, and everything should be fine as long as you just listen to the instructors and don't make any like sudden movements, and keep your head up. And I was just trying to like run through all the different cues I learned from different videos through my head. So yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know if I could film the class at all. I'm probably gonna ask to see if I could film tomorrow's, because tomorrow is like, I think tomorrow is like we're just gonna do tomorrow I think we're just gonna do some more like exercises, and then we're gonna do the physical test. But today I think it's mostly just learning all of the different techniques that they teach you in the basic riding courses. So I don't know if I'm gonna film today. I think I'm actually gonna set up my helmet for to have like a GoPro on it, but I might not. I don't know. I kind of just want to focus on the course. But yeah, I just wanted to do a quick update, and like a quick. I just wanted to do a quick update before the actual course, since I have some time, and maybe I'll do a little bit of an update on the way there. All right, that's that's it for this one. I'll see you guys soon. Okay, guys, so I am in bed right now because I'm so tired from day one of the basic rider course. I just wanted to document a quick update before I do the homework for it and then get some sleep, because we're starting very early tomorrow morning. We're starting at, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. We're starting at 6 a.m. and we have to be there at 5:45, and I live an hour away, so I'm leaving my house at 4:30 so I can get there on time. But yeah, it was a really information packed day. The bikes that we all rode on were the Honda Nighthawks 250. One instructor who is a complete badass, who is very, very no bullshit, very, she's very tough, but in the way that like it's like a tough love thing. Like if she has any kind of feedback for you, she's gonna be tough on you because she needs to be, so you can stay safe out on the road. Like she calls you out because you need it. And I think everybody at the range, like at the school, like during class, understood and her teaching style. So you are definitely going to be under like, I mean, I don't know like what other instructors are. My experience was you have to stay focused, you have to listen to the instructor every single word, and you have to go at your own pace. It was a lot of learning in the beginning of the class too, because there was like an inside class where she's teaching things, and then for like a few hours, and then we took like our knowledge test, the written test. It was 25 multiple choice questions. You could get an 80% and 80% above and pass. And those were actually some pretty tricky questions. But thankfully the whole class passed. And then after that we got all of our gear. Like we got our gear on. It was inspected by the instructor, and then we went out on the bikes and started practicing the friction zone, fine C, which is fuel valve, or like kicking the foot stand up, as she taught it to for us to remember the acronym, because we don't really need to use the fuel valve. So we substituted it for the foot stand to stand for F, and then ignition, neutral, engine cutoff switch, and then the clutch. So that's like the startup acronym. So we practiced that, like learning the friction zone, giving it a little bit of throttle and playing, and like getting to know the friction zone in the clutch and doing like that like crab walk kind of thing where you're moving slowly with the bike up and down in lines. And there's just, I don't know if I want to like recite all the different actual exercises that we did today because there was so much. But yeah, okay, so a recap of day one. It was very, very tough for me. I've only practiced like fine C in like the front of my house and on my brother's bike, and a little bit of like turning. So that's my experience at the course. The experience levels ranged from complete beginner, never touched a bike, to people who rode on scooters, to people who rode on like dirt bikes, and then a person who's like driven a motorcycle, but it was like 20 years ago or something like that, or 10 years ago. And I guess now they just want their actual license. But day one was tough. I'm really happy. I signed up for the course, and that my brother recommended me this instructor because she's not playing around. The tough love that she shows is there because she wants you to be safe, and she wants you to learn those skills and those cues and how to handle and control your motorcycle, and to get your mindset right and like going at your own pace. All right, so I think I'm gonna do my homework now. Another update. I'll get another update tomorrow. Tomorrow's pretty much skill. We do more skills, and then we do the actual physical like riding exam. Yeah, so I will do that update tomorrow if I'm not too tired. I'm gonna get about like 4 hours of sleep tonight, but that's okay. All right, guys, that's it for now. I will talk to you in the next one.